Hi guys, Aslam Khan here today to teach you Cambridge O Level May June 7707 paper, and I'm going to teach you today question number 5. I have uploaded almost question 1 to 4 on this paper, so I'm going to finalize and finish this whole content paper 7707. Paper 1 has also been uploaded on the Cambridge playlist, so if you have time, please go and refer it, guys. Please do not forget to subscribe my channel to learn with me more, and also please do not forget to hit the bell button icon. The reason it will notify you every time I post a video, and also please share to the friends. The main scope of this channel is to teach students who cannot pay a class fee across the country, and whoever wanted to get some sort of knowledge within a specific period of time. This is the right channel to select. I'm going to teach you economics accounting based on this channel. So let's start question number 5 on what do you say on 7707 May June paper. So this is a ratio adjustment. No, most probably now according to new paper code 7707, you have ratios in every paper. It's not going to be like 7110 paper. So I prefer, I say for students whoever going to sit 7707 paper, please attempt the last 2 years papers, last two set of papers of 7707, because that will give a correct ideology how the examiner will test your exam papers. So now let's start. The directors of JKL Limited provide the following information. For the ended to 30th April 2020, revenue is 209,510 and purchases 121,618, 30th April 2020. Now this is closing year of the year, because the opening year they have not given, but it's closing because they have said 30th April. Inventory 11,050, trade receivables 28,700, and bank overdraft 6,280. All sales and purchases were made on credit terms. Inventory at 1st May 2019 was valued at $8,000. Now let's calculate inventory turnover ratio. Before we move on to inventory turnover ratio, I'll remind you what is the formula of inventory turnover ratio. It says that cost of sales, cost of sales divided by, how do we calculate cost of sales divided by average inventory? How do we calculate average inventory? Easy. To calculate average inventory, you should take the opening inventory plus closing inventory divided by 2. So this is how you find your average inventory. Now this is the formula which I have given for you to work it on. Let's move on to the workings. What I need to do to find the cost of sales, because they are not given in this question the cost of sales. They are given only the revenue part. So I need to find the cost of sales. How do I find the cost of sales? Let's move on to the Excel sheet to find the cost of sales. Okay, I'll take another sheet, guys. Okay, it's a bit slow. I need you guys to be a bit patient when you're doing some with me. So now I'm going to find the cost of sales, guys. So I'll write cost of sales here. And I'll write opening inventory, opening stock. You have purchases, then closing stock, right? So for this, you don't want to show the workings there. You can just show rough working on a corner. So this is just working number 1 for your adjustment. So let's see how much is your opening stock. Opening stock is how much, guys? 11,000. No, opening stock is 8,000. Opening stock is 8,000, and purchase is 121,618, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and trade receivable is, closing stock is 11,050. One take 11,050. So minus value. So actually, if I deduct this 8,000 plus 121 minus 11,050, I'm getting a value of 118,568. Let me check it. Yeah, so this is the actual cost of sales now I have found. I can move on to the question and easily get the answer easily. According to this, I just wanted to find one more thing before we move on to the content. One, I found cost of sales. Other one is average inventory I should find. So how do I find average inventory? As I said, take your opening stock and closing stock and divide by 2. So opening stock is 8,000. Closing stock is 11,050. So divide by 2. So if I use the formula, I'll be able to find it. 1000 plus 11,050 divided by 2 is giving me what on earth? I didn't put a bracket, that's the problem. So 9,525. So now I'm moving on to the formula sheet. I found average inventory as well as I found cost of sales. So I'll write the formula here. I'll just write the formula, guys. Cost of sales divided by average inventory. You might get a mark on exam even if you don't do it correctly. So how much is your cost of sales, guys? Let's check, guys, again. 118,568. So where is it? Cost of sales divided by average inventory. Don't write short term like this. So how much was it? 118,568 divided by 9,525. If I'm not mistaken, this is the value we should take. Let me select 18568 9525. Okay. So now I got this value. Seriously, the text goes, guys. So 118,568 divided by 9525. How much I will be getting? I'll use my calculator. You also have a calculator. Please use it when you are doing the adjustment with me. 568 divided by 9525 will give you a value of 12.44, but they are saying to give it at 2 decimal places, so I will give here 12.45, because 12.44 you will be getting an answer like that, so you need to round it off for 12.45. So you need to always show the formula. It's important to show the formula because you might lose a mark if you don't show the formula. Cost of sales divided by average. So I hope you understood the first adjustment. Then let's move on to the next part on the sum. I think we finished. Yeah, 2.5 marks adjustment. Let's move on to the next part. What is the next content of this question? Trade receivables turnover days. How do you find this trade receivable turnover days? Let me remind you the formula. You need to take your average trade receivables, okay, and divide it by credit sales. Remember, guys, normally in exams they will say this credit sale, like say if sales are on credit, you can take everything. So this is how you need to take, and to number of days you will multiply by 365. So now because number of days in a year is 365, so you will multiply it and see. Let's see how much they have taken trade receivable. They are not given a closing trade receivable, so they are given only opening. So you don't want to divide by 2, you can directly take it. And sales also they are given directly 209,510. So it's very straightforward, guys. I can take it directly. So let's do the sum. 209,510. Okay. According to the formula, it should be 28,700 trade receivables. Yeah, 28,700 divided by 209,510 into 365. I think I have taken the correct values. Let me check it again. Going upward, 9,510 is your credit sales, 28,700 is your trade receivables. Normally they will say it in the exam what is credit sales. Credit sales only you should take under trade receivables, but they might say like all sales and purchases were made on credit terms when they are giving a question like that. So 209,510 into 365. If I do this calculation, how much I'll get? 28,700. I'll just check it, guys. 510 into 365. So I got 50 days exactly. So I'll write here 50 days. Okay, so this is how you calculate. Write the formula, guys. You will get a mark for this. So that's all when it comes to this 5-mark adjustment. Let's move on to the next part of the sum. Okay. So let's read this content. The rate of inventory turnover for the year ended 30th April 2020 was lower than the previous year, which means you have sold it so slowly than last year. That's what they're meaning. If you can't convert the inventory into money soon, then of course you are taking a lot of time. The trade receivable turnover days for the year ended 30th April 2020 was higher than that of previous year, which means you are collecting the payment very slower, because earlier you used to get the money faster, but now you are getting the money very slower. So that's what we say turnover days. So let me write the rate of inventory turnover. They ask explain the effects on the change in inventory turnover. What might be the reason? Maybe stocks which are there at warehouse might be damaged goods. This can be 1 marks for you. And also you can write old stocks should be cleared out soon. Old stocks should be cleared, where it would have been also this value too would have affected the turnover ratio. What might be a few other reasons? Think, guys, when you are writing why inventory turnover might increase. Cost of sales are increasing, and what to say, your average inventory, maybe it is like you might have a lot of closing stock also, it will be a problem. I can say cost of production has increases, or purchase cost would have increased recently because of the quality or something recent. So these might be the reasons, 3 reasons I have given. You can give some other reasons what you feel correct. You don't want to go exactly like in the marking scheme. You can write whatever you feel, but if it is correct, the examiner will give you marks. But write appropriately, don't write unnecessary bullshit stuffs, guys. The trade receivables turnover days for the year ended 30th April 2020 was higher than that of previous year. So they have trade receivable turnover which has been delayed. What are the things it might have? They might need to allocate, like the business should allocate provision for doubtful debts, because they might know that there might be bad debts in future. Provision for doubtful debts. The business should expect bad debts or irrecoverable debts in future. And the business and what is the business name? I forgot it. I'm saying business and business. Let me see. Is there any business name for this? JKY Limited. So it's better you use JKY Limited rather than saying business, guys. And JKY Limited. So I'll erase this off. Should the business should allocate provision for doubtful debt. So say the JKY Limited should allocate provision for doubtful debt. The business should expect bad debts in future, and the business, yeah, and the JK Limited. I don't know, is it JKY or JKL? JKL Limited should review and notify the debtors about the payment always. So these are basic stuff they should have done, but they didn't do it. That's the reason it has should have been notified the debtors about the payment. So these are stuffs they should have done actually, but they couldn't. That's the reason it is today in this point. Okay, so I have given you what would affect, what has actually happened on the particular way of recording, why it has gone to this level. I have given you a correct idea. So let's see, is it the company's name is JKY or JK? It's JKY, but I have given JKL, guys. No problem, guys. Never mind. It's JKY, so you can change it as JKY. So let's move on to the next content now. So the question C part, we'll discuss it now. The directors are concerned about the level of trade receivables. They are considering introducing cash discount of 1% for payment within 21 days or charging interest on amounts outstanding for 30 days. So either they can go with the cash discount or either they can charge interest on the outstanding. So they are going to collect the money from trade receivables. These are the two ways they are going to collect the money, either to charge an interest or to collect the money through providing a discount percentage before to get the collect money soon as possible. Advise the directors whether they should introduce the cash discount policy or the interest charge policy. Justify your answer by providing one advantage and one disadvantage of each policy. So I'm going to write this, guys. It's like business studies, they are almost asked. So you should give a solid answer for JKY Limited. Then you should give a recommendation. For recommendation, you will get 1 mark and 2 marks for identifying one advantage and one disadvantages of 1% cash discount and charging interest method. 2 marks will get for one advantage and one disadvantage. So let's start with the cash discount. Cash discount 1% will increase the customer relationship, increase the customer relationship, but you can say but, or you can full customer relationship as their JKY is providing a discount when they settle off. Settle early. But you can say, but not all the customers will be happy. Customers will be happy with 1% of discount. It's not enough actually, because it's a very lower amount of discount they have given, as it is a very low percentage. Maybe 5 or something they could have given, they could have collected it very easily. Then let's move on to the next part. Why interest charge? Interest charge will increase the profit of the business because they are going to take a lot from the debtors. Interest charge will increase the profit of JKY as they can impose the interest on debtors balance. So what is the wrong thing, guys? If you are imposing interest, some customers will feel it so unfair and they will move to another alternative. But customers will not find it satisfactory. And they might move to another, another supplier. So simple as that, guys. So I have given you a small giving of what cash discount 1% will increase the customer relationship as JKY is providing. In providing it, it's not in, guys, it's it. Okay, so I need to remind you, it's not in. So don't write in here, it should be it. Okay, so it, correct it, guys. So now in it, when they settle early, but not all customers will be happy with 1% discount, as it is very low percentage, because a small percentage won't make them very much satisfied. But on the other side, interest charge will increase the profit, because when you charge on the debtors amount, it will increase the level of profit of the business. They can impose the interest on debtors balance, but customers will not find it satisfactory and they might move to another supplier. So if they feel that they're charging too much interest when they don't pay on time within 30 days, then of course they will move to another supplier. This will reduce the level of business in future. So I will recommend, when you're recommending, you should be very careful. I will recommend, you don't say I will recommend. It's better, you can say like that. It's better JKY is going along with cash discount. So give a good recommendation. Cash discount, but increasing the level of percentage of cash discount. increasing the level of percentage of cash discount. So this is my recommendation I have given it. So that's it guys when it comes to this question. Let's move on to the next part of this paper. I think that's all, the last 4 marks. Yeah, with that everything comes to an end. I'll clear this off. The information in the accounting statement is affected by the company's accounting policies required. Explain to the directors of JKY Limited to the importance of the following objectives in selecting the company's accounting policies. So they have asked about comparability. I have taken the definition from the marking scheme itself because I don't want to give a definition on my own. It's better to go with this definition which they are given in your guide, in your textbook. So comparability accounting policy says that what's the objective, main importance of objective. Accounting policy should be applied consistently. You can't change your accounting policies if you use one accounting policy. It's better to use the same thing, so it's very easy for you to compare it from year to year and see what has happened actually. Like if you use straight line method this year, last year also you should have used straight line, so it's easy for you to connect and compare. Financial statements can be compared with similar business, so you will be able to compare your financial statement with similar business if you have the comparability objective. So let's move on to the next part of this question. What do you have? And we have relevance. Let me explain you that now. So I have given you the relevance definition from the marking scheme itself. Information is relevant if it is capable of influencing the decisions being made. So if it is very important and it can impact the organization overall decision making, then of course it is very important to consider. Information must be available in time for decisions to be taken. So these are a few definitions you can understand why JKY Limited should consider it as important, because if you don't have relevancy and you are doing irrelevant things, then of course we will not succeed in business. So this I have explained almost question number 1 to 5 completely under the playlist of Cambridge. Please watch it guys, it will be helpful for exams. We'll upload soon 7707 October November paper 2 also, and I'll upload it as soon as possible. See you guys on another video. Please do not forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell button to get the updates always to you on time. See you guys on another video. Bye.